Hope you had a great week. Welcome to the show that focuses on Mother Africa. This week, we listen into a conversation on media in Africa. We get your views on the issues, and we have Africa's top 10. You're watching the Africa Leadership Dialogues. I'm Julie Gichuru. This week, Africa Leadership Dialogues is a little bit different as I join a conversation on media in Africa. We have an amazing panel. Let's take a look.
This week's panelists include K. Steve. K. Steve is the CEO of Strong Woman magazine. She is a transformational speaker, an excellent writer, unbeatable author and publisher. Nema Wamai. Nema Wamai is the commercial director of X News and is a graduate from the University of Warwick. Gilbert Mashwashwa, the manager against gender-based violence. Mashwashwa is a TV presenter and editor, a feminist and an activist. He is also the founder of the Men to Men initiative. Julie Gichuru. Julie Gichuru is the director of Arimus Media Limited, an independent production house. Julie is also a media personality and an entrepreneur. Kobe Kihara. Kobe Kihara is a photographer, producer, and TV presenter.
Now straight to all of our insights on the media and journalism space across the continent.
Now, of course, in looking at this conversation and in looking at the key players and the institutions that actually contribute massively to the fourth estate. And this is, of course, print, radio, TV. I think it's crucial that everybody sitting in this room understands how the media works, the framework within the media, and what really does happen back there. You see Julie on Sunday Live, she reads your story, she does the interview, but the kind of work and the machinery behind that bulletin, behind content production, is so huge. And I'd like us to have a very clear understanding as to where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going, specifically in Kenya and the region. Now let's talk, of course, about credibility within the fourth estate, which I think is huge. And the way citizens and the masses actually view the media. Yes, sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad. They love us one day, they hate us the next. One day we're banded in with a government who does all wrongs. One day we're banded in with, why didn't you do this? What happened to this follow-up? Was it balanced?
So I've been in the media industry now for 15 years. I can't believe it. Things have changed significantly, but not enough. The nature of the newsroom, it's fascinating. It's a machine. It really is. And the machine is run by news editors. And news editors are people who've been in the newsroom for many, many years as news reporters and learned under other news editors, have a certain way of thinking, and are very set in their ways. And that's why if you watch any of our top TV stations at 7 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock, you could almost play a game. In fact, we could have a betting game and do this thing where you predict what story number 1 will be, story number 2. How many of you think you could, you do pretty well, right? And so people are very set in their ways. I don't describe myself as a journalist. I didn't study journalism. I'm not really a journalist. I'm a change agent who ended up in journalism because I was looking for a job. And I've kind of stuck it out. And I realized, hey, this is a really powerful platform. You know? I can use this. So I'm going to stay. I'm going to stick it out. I think we need to ask certain pertinent questions about why do people go into journalism? If you're not going into the media space to report stories because they matter to you, if you're going because it is the sensational, sexy story that will make top story and that's the story you want, you're going to report for all the wrong issues. If you report for all the wrong issues, you're going to ask all the wrong questions. I also just want to encourage, maybe we need to take a look again at the education system. And career advice is critical. I have started doing some kind of training with journalists where I ask them, why are you doing what you're doing? But we realize it has to go beyond that. Because we get to ask the question, who are you? Because that's what it's about. Why? Who are you, first of all? What do you want? then why do you do what you do? What is the impact of what you do? When you look at the impact of what you do, does it justify or support your idea of who you are? And I think for a lot of us, we are in critical positions, but if we're not able to question those things, if we're not given the ability to think that way, if it's because you have a good voice or a nice face, and it's not necessarily that, sometimes because you write a good story, but is the story that we need?
Print media is, for me, I use that as a tool because you can make reference to it in a very long time. See, the electronic media is perfect, is good, but you can easily forget what you see, but you can't forget what you read, because you can always go back to it. You will be shocked that some people have a newspaper, magazine that they've had for 20 years. They still have it in their bedroom. So there is power in print media. Everybody wants to be in front of the camera, all well and good, but there is tremendous power in the print media, and I've used it a lot on many platforms. I authored the book, See Beyond What You See, trying to change the mindset of young people, not to leave the country in frustration. No one says don't leave Kenya. You can leave Kenya, but not out of frustration, not out of pessimism, like Kenya can't work, there is nothing good in Kenya. Who told you that? That it's something huge in Kenya. Otherwise, what are we doing here? You don't even know what you have. You don't even treasure what you have, do you? There is gold in Kenya. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here and he wouldn't be here. Okay, so what I'm saying is the print media is huge. But the bottom line is, it's not everyone that will be in media. Print, electronic. Are you called? It's first about passion. Do you have passion for the media? Are you called to the media industry? Then do you have a message? Because there must be a balance. Okay, we want to see entertainment. We want to see information. When we open our TV channels, we want to see both. I don't want to get bored with all leadership talk all the time and all politics. I want some bit of Mutoni. Did I get it right? Fine. But I don't want all Mutoni all day. I want something sensible as well, something I can learn from, something that can inspire me, something that can make me dream, something that can make me aspire, because words are real. Words can either make you or break you. So when you hear the right word, you'll change. When you hear the right word, you'll be a better person. So we want balance in media. We want entertainment, we want politics, we want economy, we want everything that will make a woman thorough, a perfect woman, a total woman. Media is amazing. Print, electronic, whichever one you find your passion, go for it, because you can do it. Thank you.
5 years ago, I decided to start to change the transformation. In this way, I won some steps. When I see that it's possible to change, so I believe in change. So it's possible also to make other people to change the social context, because in context where women and men doesn't have the same right, we will never develop this. No. I decided to change, and I went to my director. I said that, director, I have some experience, and I would like also to share with the people. So I need to host a TV show that call it Ome Ke Ome, that's meaning real men, But it doesn't mean that I'm a real man. So we have to discuss about what does it mean real man. And I want to bring men to discuss about it. And my director said that, five years ago, said that, oh, Gilbert, forget about a program where you will discuss about what masculinity is, where you discuss about gender issues. That is not attractive. So we lose our audience. I say that, okay, director, if you let me do that, give me 3 months only. Please give me 3 months, we'll try to do. And they said that, okay, do it. And I started with Real Men TV show. No, we are not discussing only between men, but we take our discussion to the community. So we believe in change. We have some results on this. When we look about violence or violence against women, one of the factors, for example, in Mozambique, is that if women cook badly, men can beat her. Some women believe in this, and most of men believe in this. And then we created a section on our TV show that called it Men in the Kitchen. Men have to learn to cook also. Because there you will know that cook sometimes can come good, but sometimes it can come bad. So last year, 2014, we had 1,000 men joined us. They came voluntarily participate in Men in the Kitchen training.
I think for us to understand how women play in the media, we need to look at it from the very beginning. And that for me is the education system and the view of media. I'd mentor a lot of young people. And one of the things that has come out, a lot of them look at the glamour behind media. And here specifically, I'm talking about broadcast media. So you find a lot of young ladies coming and saying, I want to go to university to study journalism. But their understanding of journalism is standing in front of a camera, like what Julie Gichuru does in her show, what Kobe does in her show, and talk to the public. And even that talking to the public is not about what they're saying, it's how they look. And because of that, you find that there's been a lot of, I think, misrepresentation of women in media. Because broadcasting, yes, is part of media, but it's only one part of media. We also have print. You'll rarely find young people telling you they want to go and become a print journalist. And because of that, whereas the rest of media seems to be moving ahead and embracing women issues, print almost appears to be 2 decades behind. And the reason for that is because it is almost entirely male-dominated. There are not enough women coming out to talk about women issues. That's the first thing. And the second thing I think we'll probably explore as we continue discussing is content versus commercial considerations, because that is what drives almost all media owners. At the end of the day, all media owners are in business to make money. And sometimes some of the decisions that they make regarding the content and regarding what they put out there has a lot to do with what those commercial considerations are. And thirdly, I'd like us to talk a little bit about the new media, and specifically what social media is doing to women in terms of how they're being portrayed and basically what is coming out as being important. So there are all those different considerations, but for me, the most important one is start with education. We need to start educating our girls to look at media as more than just one aspect of media, and then from there, maybe we'll start seeing change coming.
Stay with the Africa Leadership Dialogues.
For Nation, I went in as a salesperson, but there were also journalists, who also came in at the same time. Now, during that time, before you could become a journalist, you had to get a first degree, and then you had to go to the Kenya School of Journalism to get a diploma before they allowed you to come and write. And even then, when you came to write, you were assigned the little, what they call the beat, kind of like assignments, not really big stories, so that you could grow and, come to understand how to do a proper story. And you remember that the media, particularly in the 90s, is credited with the second, liberation of Kenya, in terms of educating the public about their rights, in terms of educating Kenyans about why multi-party democracy was the way to go for this country and why it was important. So I think they played their role very well. But things seem to have come apart at the seams when we got into the 21st century, where now suddenly we moved from having 2 or 3 major media houses, maybe the Nation Media Group, the Standard, and I think KBC, to suddenly we have over 120 radio stations, I think more than 300 waiting to be licensed, to having at least 17 TV stations currently. Maybe there are another 50, 60 with digitization that are going to be licensed. And because of that, the rules have suddenly changed. It's no longer about going through a rigorous training to come into a profession and go through the ranks like we did. But that said, I don't think all is lost, because there are still a lot of journalists of good repute, whether in print, whether on broadcast, or whether on social media, who want to get the real story out, who want to do the best that they can for Kenyans. And I think for the ordinary person, we've reached a point where I almost think that Kenyans are numb. So many things have happened in terms of our society, whether it's political news, whether it is the difficulty of the economy, whether it is the failing social fabric, to the point where what was once abnormal is now almost normal. And that is the inertia, I think, as media, we must get Kenya out of, because that is where we are.
There's a saying in my place that, Enito lowo lo lowo. Oh, yeah, now I'm speaking in tongues now, isn't it? What I said is whoever owns the money owns the business. Isn't that true? Profound. Whoever owns the money owns the business. So whoever owns the media station, more often than not, dictate what goes down there. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. He calls the shot because he owns the money. He is the major investor. What does that tell us? We should get involved. If that's your passion, because for me, media is my life. Really, I do not know what I want to do without the media. It doesn't matter what I do, it boils down to the media. And so when I realized that a lot of things have not been covered, a lot of things have not been said, it doesn't matter if I'm a foreigner or not. What matters is change. As a matter of fact, what is media for? Media is an instrument of change. And so if it's no longer an instrument of change, then you have no reason being there. Media is a platform for change. So when I came up with Strong Woman magazine, I wanted change. I wanted to redefine the woman. So I determined the content because it's my magazine. And that's the truth. Okay, I can take 1 or 2 opinions from you, but it's my decision at the end of the day. Don't look at me like that. But it's true. It doesn't matter what you tell me. I will say, okay, fine, yes. But at the end of the day, I determine what goes down in Strong Woman. And that's what it's about. Okay, I can't remember the end, I think 2 years back, you had presidential election here. I followed the debates like my uncle or my aunt was on that on that race. But for heaven's sake, I don't have an uncle there. And some of you are sitting here, I never watched one of those debates. I could quote what every one of them said. You weren't part of it. Now, who do you blame if things are not working? You blame yourself because you weren't part of it in the first place. So be part of it. Lend your voice because you know the media, it's so influential. It's so powerful because it's reaching a large number of people at the same time. And that's what makes it powerful.
Media in Mozambique, in Kenya, we need to see what are needs, and in this area, I think we are doing something interesting, something that we believe that we are changing our society. I have some example on this. When I produced a documentary, The Initiation Rites, The Dark Side, it's a title. And this documentary show the sexual violence that women are suffering during the male initiation's rites. That's happened in north of Mozambique. But people, before they talk about this, people have a barrier. They believe that if you talk about this, you can die or something terrible can happen in their life. But we produced this, and we talk with people. We take after this documentary to discuss with the same people after the result. When we showed there, for example, one woman who was violated by 17 men. And it was very sad. She was crying during the interview. It was 1 hour interview. The half hour, so she was only crying. And we showed this. Well, we protected her, but we showed this in their community. So we asked the leaders, community leaders, the government. So you see what's happened. So we have to make a decision on this. We have to judge this case because she waited, for example, 2 years for the judgment. And when we showed the documentary, 2 months later, they judged the case. It's also to show the powerful of media. But also media, I would like to say that it can be good, but also it can be dangerous. Because, first, we have, as media makers, we have a big responsibility for our target, our society, because what we are showing can be dangerous. If we are looking, sometimes the menu of the programs, you can see a big list of entertainment. Music, movie, music, movie, music, movie. When you go to education, you'll see 2 or 3 things there. So where we are going with this?
So I think there are 2 things. We talk a lot about speaking truth to power, and I think speaking truth to power has 2 aspects. It's speaking truth to the power that you see, which is the hierarchy, but sometimes it's speaking truth to the masses. Sometimes what the masses brave for is not necessarily what you need. So I think, again, it comes back to why are you in journalism, quality training in journalism, quality education, so that as a journalist, as you sit there doing the stories that you do, you're able to touch an internal compass, that can tell you ethically, am I going in the right direction? Have I asked all the questions? Is there something I'm missing? And I think we have some great journalists out there doing good work. I'd love the training to be far more high pressure, intensive. So I really challenge our mass communications, colleges, universities, the courses out there to really challenge the people before they come into the industry. Because to be honest, I feel a lot of young people come in and are flung into a situation that is very difficult and you're almost swimming to survive. At the end of the day, I do think that while we do our best, we often focus on the wrong things. And, we need to take criticism, but I also think the audiences need to be more constructive in the way they feed back to us. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you need to see. Tell us where the gaps exist. And now you have so many opportunities through social media to feed into what we do. So use those opportunities constructively. A lot of people who've taken those opportunities are busy abusing each other. It's like you almost see 2 camps, right? And then they're just flying missiles left, right, and center. And I'm asking, where is the reasonable middle? It's a missing middle. Where are those guys? Make your voices heard so that we know what you need to see, what you want to see more of, So there's work to be done, but I do believe those who are in the industry now do try.
Stay with the Africa Leadership Dialogues.
Let's have a look.
This week we asked you, how can the media contribute to greater development across Africa? Horace A. Scholar says, by taking initiatives and partnering with different stakeholders to enlighten citizens on civic education regarding the development of the country. Obwoge Magara Jr. says, the media should heavily engage in responsible journalism and directly participate in peace processes.
My name is Calvin Osemo. I'm watching African Leadership Dialogues from Nakuru, and I want to say that the media can be a very powerful tool for change in African development, because if utilized well by the public, meaning that if it is used to sensitize the people on social, economic and political issues, this will improve the governance and keep in check the government so that they can at least be able to counter-check what's going on within their country.
To join our conversation, go to our G+ page, Africa Leadership Dialogues, on Facebook, Africa Leadership Dialogues, on Twitter, @AfricaLD, and on WhatsApp, send your video comments to +254 715 816 033.
And it's time now for Africa's Top 10.
This week on Africa's Top 10, we feature countries with the best ethical behavior of firms. This study focused on the extent to which corporate ethics of companies affect their interactions with public officials, politicians, and other firms. It is ranked out of 7. This is according to the World Economic Forum. Starting us off at number 10 is Cape Verde. The island nation scored an index of 4.1 and is ranked at number 60 globally. Coming in at number 9 is Swaziland. The Kingdom of Swaziland attained an index of 4.13 and is ranked 59 globally. Taking the number 8 spot is Seychelles with an index of 4.17 and ranked at number 58 globally. Positioned at number 7 is Namibia. The South African country is ranked at number 53 with an index of 4.2. Slotted in at number 6 is Morocco, which is ranked at number 52 globally with an index of 4.27. At number 5 is Gabon. The republic attained an index of 4.3 and is ranked 50th globally. The Gambia takes the number 4 spot with an index of 4.52 and is ranked at number 40 globally. Positioned at number 3 is Botswana. As one of the highest GDP per capita countries in Africa, Botswana is ranked at number 39 globally with an index of 4.58. Coming in at number 2 is South Africa. With one of the largest economies in the continent, South Africa attained an index of 4.7 and is ranked at number 35 globally. And at number 1 this week is Rwanda. Hailed as one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, Rwanda is ranked at number 22 with an index of 5.3. And that's Africa's Top 10 this week.
This week, our African proverb is so profound, it actually sends shivers down my spine. Think on this. Dogs do not actually prefer bones to meat. It's just that no one ever gives them meat. Wow. Blessings to you and blessings to Africa.